Well, ladies and gentlemen, happy Thanksgiving to all. I hope you all are enjoying your Thanksgiving with your families, having a fun and enjoyable time. Today I'm got the opportunity to finally upload and do this this review on NXT for November 27th, 2019. Um, we'll go on record to say second week in a row, in my opinion, that NXT was the better show to AEW last night. Have to say the main event was actually a very intriguing one. Unfortunately, I wasn't expecting the type of ending, like a fuck finish or whatnot, but it is what it is. I hope that we see this match again for a later date where we actually have a clear-cut winner. But Tommaso Ciampa and Finn Balor was a very intriguing match. The match of the night, though, I will go on record to say that that Cruiserweight Championship match with Lio Rush and Akira Tozawa was an outstanding matchup. Hard-hitting, fast-paced, in-your-face type attitude matchup that I actually was loving for the 15 to 20 minutes that they delivered. The one thing that I will say about NXT's programming is that we are noticing that these matches are well designed and well choreographed. The other thing is that these matches are given 15-20 minutes, and we actually get to view most of the match, which is another great thing about NXT. Or they at least do the split screens where they can show off the commercials but also give us the action at the same time. So that is another great thing about this. AEW does the same thing, which is fantastic. But I am going to say that the show overall, presentation-wise, action-wise, everything else in between was good, hard-hitting wrestling that I absolutely enjoyed from start to finish. To kick things off, we had the NXT go ahead and celebrate in Full Sail University because of the fact of their triumphant win over Raw and SmackDown, dominating the main roster's wins and loss record on Survivor Series. So kudos to them on that. I'm very happy that they were given that opportunity to shine on a WWE main roster pay-per-view such as Survivor Series. So great job by WWE overall for that. The Undisputed comes out, Undisputed Era, they come out, and they say that the whole roster needs to cut out with those celebrations. Like they did something. Tommaso Ciampa, Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, and Dominic Dijakovic enter the ring. Cole goes on about how the success of the weekend was due to the Undisputed Era. Now here's the funny part about all that. Outside of Adam Cole winning his match and Roderick Strong winning his triple threat match, the Undisputed Era had more losses than wins. So, a little bit of a contradiction there, my friend, Mr. Adam Cole, baby. So, yeah. Just my overall opinion on that comment. But, it was to display how dominant they are. So he says, none of you are NXT. None of you accomplished anything this weekend. The Undisputed Era is NXT. Now, granted, I will agree with that. They have been carrying the load for NXT's entire roster. Not saying that NXT's roster has not done a great job themselves, but they are providing hype. That's what the Undisputed Era's faction does. They are providing the hype and backbone to getting people interested in this brand. Not also to mention Tommaso Ciampa is another reason, and Johnny Gargano. So, let's continue. So the Undisputed Era is NXT's mentions, and it's because of NXT that you suck. And that a "you suck" chant interrupts Cole. It's because of the Undisputed Era the NXT was successful. He goes on about dominating both events and says they are just getting started. He says they are the Iron Men of this brand. I don't know about all that, but okay. Cole says the others would love to have the night off, but not us. Fish and O'Reilly will successfully defend their tag team titles tonight because that's what they do. And Cole goes on until Ciampa interrupts him. Sorry, I'm fucking up what I'm trying to say here. So Ciampa interrupts him. And then Ciampa pretty much mentions the War Games win, says that was just the beginning of the end of the Undisputed Era, and he says the collapse continues tonight when Lee and Dominik Dijakovic take the NXT Tag Team titles. Fans chant for Lee. Ciampa says Strong's days are numbered, and last but not, and certainly not least, is Goldie. Fans chant Goldie now. Ciampa goes on with threats for Cole. The music hits, and out comes Finn Balor to the stage. He steps through the Undisputed Era and stares at Cole for a moment. Balor speaks from a few feet in front of Cole and says, "It looks like he's in Ciampa's way now." Ciampa has words for Balor and challenges him to a match. Fans chant yes now, and then Lee talks about Ciampa beating Balor tonight. Lee is tired of wasting time, tells Fish and O'Reilly to get in the ring for their match. Fans chant for Lee as the music hits. Balor returns to the back as we get ready for the match. We did have Tom Phillips on commentary. He actually did a decent job in filling in for Mauro Ranallo because of the Corey Graves comments that were made, which to me was absolutely fucking ridiculous. I don't know why Corey Graves would attack his own colleague and treat him like shit, especially making comments about bipolar diseases. That's a little fucked up. But anywho, let's get into the very first match, which was the NXT Tag Team titles with Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic versus the Undisputed Era of Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, which later turned where Roderick Strong was put into the match because of Bobby Fish having, due to some medical reasons, as ordered by the NXT General Manager, William Regal. So, for whatever reason, during the split screen, that's when they announced that Roderick Strong was going to take Bobby Fish's place, which was a little awkward. I don't know why they didn't just mention this right out the gate and get it over with so that they didn't seem a little awkward changing the matchup right in mid-stride. I think that was a little fucking stupid. That was about the only criticism I'll give this show, truthfully. Outside of the rest of it, it was fucking fantastic. This matchup, I'm not going to go in the entire thing, go over every little bit of detail that happened during the match, but I will go on record to say this. This match, the Undisputed Era retained the tag team titles. Adam Cole ended up being shot right into the fucking front row, into the fans. And I don't know what the fuck that was, but that was a fucked up situation I didn't even expect to happen. And Cole was flying into the second row because of Keith Lee doing a shoulder tackle, I guess you could say, into Adam Cole, and Adam Cole just leaped up in the air. I don't know if it was done on purpose or it was done by accident, but he landed into the second row, and the fans chanted "holy shit," which is definitely deserved after something like that happening. Dijakovic actually was looking on from the ring, allowing Strong and O'Reilly to hit the high-low for the pin and win and retain the tag team titles. That's that whole situation there. I will have to critique it, though. I will say that was a little ridiculous to have Djokovic just standing there watching the action go on with Adam Cole while he's in the ring with two of the best guys on the Undisputed Era's team. First off, Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly are a very good tag team. I like Strong and Kyle O'Reilly as a tag team. They are very good together. Bobby Fish is good with Kyle O'Reilly too. They were originally tag team partners to begin with, going in. But again, like I said, Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly, they are good tag team. You don't take them lightly. And Djokovic, because he had a little bit of an advantage, because after doing a major move with a pounce and a choke, well, actually a choke slam and a fucking basically it was in a triangle choke, and he body slammed fucking Kyle O'Reilly right through the mat and choke slammed Roderick Strong while Adam Cole was being pounced by fucking Lee. Kovic's just standing there like a putz waiting to be demised and getting killed, and that's pretty much what happened with the high-low maneuver. This matchup, I will give it a 4 out of 5 stars. Solid matchup, entertaining shit. Just the ending seemed a little awkward, not to mention the little change-up mid part of the match I did not like. I thought that was a little fucking stupid. But the overall wrestling in itself was fantastic. 4 out of 5 stars, in my opinion, on that match. Okay, so after the match, the champs stand tall together on the ramp as Lee and Djokovic regroup in the ring. The music hits as we go to replays and blah, blah, blah. Alright, so Kathy Kelly is backstage with Candice LeRae now. Candice interrupts and says that all she's heard about since War Games is Dakota Kai, and all she can think about is Kai destroying Tegan Knox, who she considers a sister. LeRae says this was supposed to be a friend, and she didn't expect this. She says Tegan will get her revenge on Kai, but tonight she will get Kai in the ring. And then they go back to commercial break and then come back. And we go ahead, I believe at this point, where next is Shane Thorne and Mansoor. Mansoor gets the victory here. I'm not going into all the details of what happened. This matchup was it was a whatever match. I'll give it a 3 out of 5 stars. It was pretty decent, but it wasn't all that big of a deal. I don't even think it should have been here on this card, but it did take up some time and make things intriguing. At least giving Shane Thorne some airtime on television. Now, Candice LeRae versus Dakota Kai, one of the better matches on the card here. So, Dakota Kai and Candice LeRae, I mean, this match ended up being a disqualification. Candice LeRae wins the match, but Kai grabs the knee brace and decks her with it at the ropes for the disqualification. That's how this match ends. The in-ring action, though, for these two women was fantastic. Excuse me, I was going ahead and trying to alleviate my leg because I'm sitting on the floor doing this review with you guys, which I guess you guys are saying to yourself, what the fuck are you doing that? Why not sit at a desk? Well, I need to get the money for all that stuff so I can do that. But anyway, going back to this. This matchup, Candice LeRae and Dakota Kai delivered solid. Good matchup, 3.5 out of 5 stars. Very entertaining match. It's a good start to Dakota Kai's heel turn. I actually enjoyed what I'm seeing with Dakota Kai being a heel. She is fantastic as this heel character. It reminds me a lot of what Bayley was going through. She's a nice, good luck person, happy all the time type attitude, always positive, Now it's time to get serious and start actually giving a shit about your career. Instead of trying to make friends, you're trying to be the best. And Dakota Kai delivered. She actually was performing at a very high level. Probably one of the better matches I've ever seen her in my personal opinion anyway. But bottom line, this was a good matchup. I will give them both credit. They did a fantastic job together. They gel very well together. I didn't see really a whole lot of botches here. For a women's match, good job by both women here. After the match, Kai attacks Candice on the floor and whips her into the steel ring steps as fans boo. Kai grabs a steel chair, but Rhea Ripley runs down and knocks it out of her hand. Fans pop and start cheering for Ripley as Kai yells at her from the stage. The Ripley chants continue as she checks on LeRae. I think we saw Rhea Ripley a little too much on this show, but it was in situations that were well deserved. I would feel that way, at least with that situation. Okay, so Kathy is backstage with Tommaso Ciampa asking about tonight's main event. Ciampa issued the challenge to Finn Balor because he wants the match. Ciampa gives Balor some props, but says he's the one. He says he's the one who made the NXT title the most prestigious in the business, not Balor. He's the longest reigning champion, Balor is, but he's made the title more prestigious. Ciampa goes on and says Balor wants to stand in his way tonight, but it will be Balor's mistake, and that was that. So then we come back to this match, which was, I would say, probably one of the hard-hitting matches on this entire card. One of the most fantastic matches. And Lio Rush has delivered on 2 major matches on NXT since he's become champion. And he has been unreal. Akira Tozawa and Lio Rush for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Solid matchup. Solid. That's a fucking understatement. A fucking great matchup, may I add, to that statement. I'm going to go over the highlights of this matchup, what's written here on Wrestling Incorporated, and tell you exactly what happened. So it will take a little bit of time. Don't worry. I will get through this as quickly as possible. We go to the ring, and out comes the challenger, Akira Tozawa, who is representing Raw. Now, the one thing I will disagree on is the idea of giving Tozawa another opportunity when he already had an opportunity at the pay-per-view of Survivor Series. Now the NXT champion comes out, NXT Cruiserweight champion, I should say. And then the bell rings, and they tangle some to start. Rush dodges a kick. Rush gets the upper hand first and shows off some. And Tozawa fights back, but misses a senton as Rush moves. Rush with a quick splash as we get a stalemate as fans cheer them on. Rush catches a kick and misses a chop. More back and forth now. Tozawa rocks Rush while he's up top and knocks him to the mat. They tangle on the apron now, and Rush goes for a German from the apron to the floor, but Tozawa fights him off. Rush goes for a powerbomb to the floor now, but Tozawa stops that as well. Tozawa with a big kick to drop Rush on the floor. Tozawa stands tall as we go to commercial break. Back from the break, and Rush has Tozawa grounded in the ring. Fans rally as they fight to their feet. Tozawa gets Rush in a fireman's carry and slams him face first into the mat. Tozawa drop kicks Rush out to the ring, and Tozawa goes for a dive, but Rush moves. Tozawa goes to the apron instead and runs for a big senton, taking Rush back down on the floor. Fans chant NXT now. Fans are really into this match. Whole entire time this match went on. It was, again, like I said, it was a great match. They bring it back in, and Tozawa goes to the top for a missile drop kick. Rush kicks out at 1 by grabbing the bottom rope. Tozawa swings in the middle of the ring, but Rush blocks and unloads. More back and forth with quick counters and strikes. They both collide in mid-air with jumping kicks in the middle of the ring and go down. Fans chant, "This is awesome," as they slowly get up. Rush fights Tozawa off as Tozawa blocks his suplex attempt. They go to the apron and Tozawa delivers a big kick. More back and forth on the apron. Tozawa grabs Rush and delivers a huge German suplex from the apron to the floor, which was probably the biggest spot on this entire show. I will say that. That was a fucking amazing move by Tozawa, and Lio Rush was lucky he didn't break his fucking neck. So, let me see here. I lost my place. Yeah. So, fans go wild and chant, "Holy shit," now, which is well deserved for a spot like that. They both barely make it back in the ring before the 10 count. Fans rally for Tozawa now. Rush counters another German and rolls him up for a 2 count. Rush unloads and botches the come up, hitting the mat. Rush with kicks while both are on their feet now. Rush unloads with strikes in the middle of the ring. Tozawa catches Rush with a... Oh, wait, hold on. I lost my... Tozawa... okay... Fuck! Alright. Tozawa catches Rush with a snap German. Tozawa with another German with the bridge for a close 2 count. Tozawa goes to the top now, and Tozawa goes for the big senton, but Rush gets his knees up. Rush goes back to the top and hits the final hour to Tozawa's back. Rush goes back to the top for another final hour, and Rush covers him for the win and retains his title. Again, like I mentioned, fucking awesome match. Definitely well worth to go back and watch again. Will say that. Alright. And we're at that point after the match. Rush takes the title and slowly gets to his feet as the music hits. We go to replays, blah, 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 and yada, yada, yada. Kathy Kelly is backstage with Finn Balor now, asking about the main event. Balor says Tommaso Ciampa is living in his world and it's a dark place. Talks about taking out Johnny Gargano and Matt Riddle, and says tonight will be Ciampa's turn. And that's it. Then we get Zia Lee versus Vanessa Bourne. Didn't give a flying fuck until after the match was over. Zia Lee won the matchup. And after the match, Baszler sends the horsewomen into the ring, but Lee ends up fighting them off. Baszler enters the ring and drops Lee, comes back and unloads on Baszler to drop her, and Lee fights off Shafir and Duke again until Baszler clubs her from behind to drop her again. Lee gets triple teamed now, and Baszler takes the mic and says everyone is trying to take credit for Survivor Series weekend, but no one had the kind of weekend like she had. She gloats about beating Raw Women's Champion, which she did not. Most definitely not. She did not defeat her. She ended up winning the match, but Becky Lynch was not pinned or submitted. It was Bayley. At the same time, may I add, that she said that she beat them both. Fans start chanting for Rhea Ripley. Baszler goes on yelling about her success until the music hits and out comes Ripley to a big pop. Ripley enters the ring, but all 3 women exit to boos. Ripley calls Baszler back to the ring because she has something to say to her face, so Baszler walks back to the ring alone. She doesn't have her cronies with her going to the ring, and stands on the apron as Ripley gets in her face. Ripley just wanted to congratulate Baszler. She says Baszler did beat Bayley and Becky, but when she went face to face with Ripley, she lost. Fans chant for Ripley now at this point. Ripley says she will do it again, but the next time it's for the Women's Championship. Fans pop again as Ripley back up and talks trash. Baszler watches from the apron as fans chant Rhea's gonna kill you. Baszler enters and gets in Ripley's face. Baszler has heard this all before. She says Ripley might be the nightmare, but she's the reality, and the reality is that Ripley will be tapping out or napping like the rest. Baszler drops the mic and exits the ring again. Ripley challenges her to come do it right now. Fans chant yes, as Baszler teased to come in, but backs off and heads up the ramp. Ripley says Baszler knows if she comes back into the ring, she will get dropped. Baszler heads back to the stage with her crew as Ripley talks trash from the ring and her music plays. And that's that overall with that segment. Then it's the main event, and I'll be able to close this out. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail of what happened. I am really talked out now. I've been talking for over 25 minutes at this point. And I will go on record to say, Finn Balor and Tommaso Ciampa actually do a good job together. And I was incorrect. There was a clean-cut finish. I am sorry about what the fuck I said. Well, there wasn't a clean-cut finish, but there was a winner in the situation. Finn Balor did win the match. I will say that. But it wasn't a clean-cut finish. I forgot that this match ended with a fucking winner. And I think I said earlier in this show that it was a fucking disqualification. I must have been mixing that up with Candice LeRae and Dakota Kai. So I do apologize about that horrible critique and what I remember of this show. I do apologize. I deserve every bit of hate that you bring upon me if you want to do that. But I do apologize. Yes, Finn Balor does get the win with the distraction of Adam Cole. So basically what happens is Adam Cole kind of distracts Ciampa. Ciampa gets hit with the 1916 DDT type finisher and gets the 1-2-3, and that's how the match ends. And that's overall what occurred in this matchup for the ending portions of the match. Once the match ends, Balor recovers as his music hits. Cole is in the ring with all smiles. We go to replays, and then Cole enters the ring, walks past Balor, and gets his title from the referee. Ciampa is still down on the mat, and Cole and Balor pose over Ciampa and taunt him. Balor suddenly drops Cole with a big overhead kick. Fans chant for Balor now, and Balor exits the ring as his music hits. Balor points his guns back at the ring as Cole and Ciampa try to recover on the mat. And then NXT goes off the air. So, from what I'm getting here, this matchup looks like for the next World Championship match that Adam Cole is going to defend his title is going to be a triple threat match. I believe we're going to see Finn Balor, Tommaso Ciampa, and Adam Cole all in a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship on NXT. Now, when? Probably in January during the Royal Rumble weekend. Unless we're not seeing the NXT have their takeover during the Royal Rumble weekend, which I believe that is a possibility. Let me check that out real quick. I want to see if they actually have it, because I do believe they say that this is actually taking place in February, their next takeover event, I believe. So let me go ahead real quick and check that out. Royal Rumble, I'll just put in Royal Rumble 2020. And take a look here, see what we got going on and what events are lined up at this point. Truthfully, there is no event lined up for the Royal Rumble weekend. From what I believe, just from looking at this, I believe that we will be seeing the NXT roster in the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. That is what I'm getting from this, just by looking at this right now. So, yeah. I think that we are going to be in for a hell of a ride. Now, I would love to see Adam Cole defend the World Heavyweight Championship on the Royal Rumble pay-per-view against Finn Balor and Tommaso Ciampa. I think they would tear the fucking roof off of that place. Now, granted, this is in Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, so it's probably in a baseball stadium, so they probably don't have a roof over it, but you get my point. Bottom line, I think that they need to highlight NXT in a fucking big major event like this. This is a great opportunity for them to highlight their ability to give the fans something to cheer for. Because you fucking know for certain that Royal Rumble is not going to be a great pay-per-view with just the main roster. The main roster displayed that in this Survivor Series pay-per-view. If it wasn't for NXT being touched into this build, the fucking pay-per-view would have sucked. It had nothing going in, and even with NXT's touch on there, it wasn't all that great going into it. But the overall in-ring action was very good. So I will give WWE that much credit for Survivor Series. Now this is going to be intriguing. I hope to see that they have 10 guys from Raw, 10 guys from SmackDown, and 10 guys from NXT in the Royal Rumble competing for an opportunity to have their brand be the actual fucking main event of WrestleMania. For God's sakes, let the fucking Royal Rumble winner be in the main event of WrestleMania. Now have a fucking bullshit win and have the Royal Rumble winner mean nothing. It means absolutely nothing if it's not the main event of the pay-per-view. Come on, let's get real with ourselves. That's pretty much it, guys. So that's all I have to say on this subject. Leave your comments and opinions down below. Hit the like button if you liked the video, and hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel. And I thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great night.